Well, hey there, and welcome to another episode segment or whatever you want to call it of Vital Moments podcast. One day I'll get it straight, and then my introduction will be nice and tight. But here
Dialed.
we are, dialed in. Yeah,
You always heard, "Hey there."
hey there. I do, and like now everyone's gonna hear it because every recording I do, that's how I start. Because
Josh, the producer, is gonna clip just a ton of "hey there's" by you.
Yeah.
Just be a reel of you.
Yeah, it'd be great one day. But yesterday we had a very different kind of Sunday. This only happens one time a year, and we legit see miracles every year, even if it's just in the weather. So yesterday was our one church event of VPC Family Day, all sites coming together, gathering together in Poplar Hill. We had a whole bunch of baptisms, which we do need to clarify how many.
Yeah, because Josh on stage, him and I are like chatting during the spontaneous moment, people coming forward, like receiving Christ that day and like making it real. And he jokes on the mic. He's like, I think there's like, he was like 90. And I'm like, in the moment, I know he's joking around, but people after the service were like, 90 baptisms? Like, holy, no, 60. We had 60.
It's
Total of
pastor's
60.
numbers. He's showing his pastor's heart.
Oh, he's a pastor. Come on.
Oh.
It was so funny. But we had 60 baptisms total with 7 spontaneous, which was they came forward after Ron's message of what the gospel is, who Jesus is, and what he can be for them in their life. And it was incredible to see those spontaneous come up and the crowd just celebrate. The community just go nuts for them. So yeah, there's the clarity on that. Not 90, 60. Maybe one day 90. Maybe he's prophesying next year 90.
Yeah.
I don't know how many tanks we need at that point, but yeah, it was a really great day, and so fun to have everyone gather together despite the rain. It stopped literally just in time, and as we wrapped up, like I'm closing comments, the sunshine comes out. It was crazy. So yeah, fantastic day together. But I wanted to begin this conversation today about why is this event or any one church event so significant for us as a multi-site church planting churches in small towns? Ron, would you share with us just the heart behind the significance of that one church event?
Yeah. Couple things. First, shout out to Sean and Clinton, who I told we weren't going to do podcast. This is like a last minute thing. He was disappointed. He said, I'm going to have to go back and watch last week's again.
So we did this just for you, Sean.
Yeah. Yeah. This was like literally a last minute call to do this anyway. But Amy, it's a really important understanding of the one church event and why we encourage as many people as possible to participate in this. What we're part of is something extremely exciting. In Southwestern Ontario, very unique. I had a pastor friend text me last night and said there's something very special that's happening through Vitalpoint. And I would agree. There is something very special in spite of, our own humanness and our own insecurities and brokenness. God so chooses to have his hand of blessing on Vitalpoint right now. And these events are crucial for the broader community of Vitalpoint. As we look at the 5 sites coming together, it's easy to have people attend a site and they get locked in their town, their site, which is so important to do. We talk a lot about the town assignment that each site has, which is crucial, but we also understand the unity of Vitalpoint Church's experience when we come together like this to see the broader scope of what God is doing, to help us realize that we're part of something way bigger than just our town. And that momentum of understanding the mission, vision, and kingdom assignment brings about a sense of awe for people. I talked to people yesterday that were like Acts talks about in the New Testament, awe and wonder. There was a real sense of awe and wonder to experience, almost 800 people on the property here on this lawn. And even for us, for those of us on staff that pour a lot of time and energy into our site, we recognize that we're part of something that's extremely exciting, way bigger than just our own site. And when we gather like that, it's important. I asked you guys if it's okay if I share a word this morning. I was reading through Psalm 33, and verse 11 says, "The counsel of the Lord stands forever." Okay, so the unchanging purposes of the counsel of the Lord stands forever. It doesn't change. But then this line says, "The plans of his heart to all generations." The
Hmm.
plans of his heart. So I was looking up these words this morning. Plans are his determined intention, the deliberate act of God. The word plans in verse 10 prior to that is the human schemes, which change. But we see the plans of his heart, which his heart is the the desire originating from his being. But then it says to
Hmm.
generations, right? To all generations. For me, I saw that yesterday, where
Hmm.
as leadership, God's call on leaders to pastoral leadership and so on in this church, we're trying to discern, and senior staff, we're trying to discern and pray, God, what's your heart? What's your plans? And the uniqueness of what God has called us to here at Vital Point Church, we saw it to all generations, that there's nothing
Hmm.
that can stop the intention of God's purposes from generation to generation. We saw that yesterday, a field full of generations.
Hmm.
And that
That's so
that is
true.
such a beautiful thing for me as I look out over that field yesterday to see his plans in his heart at this particular moment in time in the life of Vital Point Church. And that's just reassuring to me,
Hmm.
that beautiful heart posture that God has, the desires originating from his being,
Hmm.
which is so different than the schemes of human beings in verse 10. So I think it's a step towards understanding, again, as a church, to look out and see people intentionally showing up in spite of the rain prior to, and how cold it got, which was completely opposite from last year, which was the it was so hot. Someone described it like as hot as the surface of the sun last year, but this
Yeah,
year
that's
it
right.
got so cold. But it's still, because when we plan these things, we don't know, hey, is anyone, how many people are going to show up? Are people going to make the drive? The amount of Clinton people that I saw, driving down from up there was
Hmm.
pretty incredible. But it's I'm very extremely excited for our community and to see
Hmm.
that many people show up and bring friends. I was talking to the interns before we jumped on here, asking them their reflection on yesterday, and just to hear their heart, and to hear their stories, and to help them understand how important this is. One of them described it was like a family reunion, but yet one of them brought their parents to the gathering. But so it's a family reunion that includes others. It's not
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I love
not,
that.
you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like
it's
you
not
can
the
be
weird
part of this.
reunions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if we were to go to a park, let's say there's a family reunion happening in a park. If we were to walk up to it and try to be part of it, it'd feel kind of weird. We wouldn't know if they receive us or accept us, or what, how they chat and talk and inside stories and so on. But for yesterday, it was like a family reunion that included more and more people that can be part of it. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a kind of thing that, like, there's always room at the table, like, and we're
always.
excited. It's not like, "Oh, I guess we'll make room for you." Like, yeah, watching that be such a heartbeat of all of our communities, of the excitement of, this is your family member, this is your friend, like, I'm so excited to meet you, like, we love this person, so therefore that
Yeah.
just automatically extends, like, yeah, I had a few even just Poplar Hill people introduce me to, like, one young girl that I've been alongside in Alpha a little bit. Like, she introduced me to her mom, and we hit it
Mm,
off and chatting and just,
yeah,
like, yeah, just that mutuality of, like, she really recognized, like, "Oh, this place is really for my daughter," and could
yeah,
feel herself in that
yeah,
space. And so all those things are so exciting. And to see, yeah, the family members across sites, like, there's not really a better way kind of to
yeah.
describe that.
Mhm,
Um, and putting some faces to stories as we share with each other as staff of what God's doing at our sites. It's really significant. And to be able to have the broader community see that, like you said, we can get so focused on our region, which is important, but to understand like they're a part of something
mhm,
greater is so great. And to come together in glory to God as we share those one
mhm,
story at a time moments. So
mhm.
yeah, it was really good. Dude, what are some of your we've done this a few years now.
Yeah.
Do you have any reflections coming out of this one, or a perceived of anything that was maybe significant or you noticed this year that maybe you haven't paid
I
attention
think
to years before?
I'm always taken back by the my stories that are shared before
Yeah.
baptisms. And with this year, with the sheer numbers of like just the increased people that want to be baptized before even the day came, like we're like, man, like we'd love to share all these stories, but you can't. We'd be there for hours, right?
Mhm.
But the five people that shared this year really helped me understand that God has been stirring people's hearts for years before this. Um, just the sheer like raw honesty of like, I tried this, I tried that, I moved here, I moved that, I used this, and it was just like, man, like they were yearning, they were desiring something, and they bump into Jesus through an invite of a friend, or they stumble in at a Christmas or an Easter or whatever the story is. And for me, it's just knowing that those five people represented 50 something people that all had a story like that
Yeah.
from young to old. It's just been incredible to see those stories just not even like, it's like, man, it seems like it's like a living spring just popping out of the ground lately.
Mm.
Right, Ron? Like we
Oh,
often
yeah.
talk like sometimes it's like a dribble. You finally, oh, you see a little bit of happening, but it seems
Yeah.
to be this last little while that it's just like God's like, no, like I want to bless this. I find value in this because it's being known by me,
Mhm.
right? It's not just one person or a few people that are really creative and can make some great things happen. No, like it's people saying like, I can't do this alone. It is the moment where Moses says like, we're not going unless your spirit comes with us,
Mhm.
right? We want this to be known by you. And to get to meet people yesterday after the my stories of those families and friends of those people, I was just like, man, like how incredible is it, the story behind the moment that we got to
Mhm.
hear. So those are the things that pop up for me.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's so good. And to like the bravery, honestly, of those 6 individuals that did that,
Yeah.
like, in front of how many people, including family members. Like, I know the one young man from Poplar Hill, he's like, "My parents haven't even heard that story." And then
Yeah.
he shares it in front of, like, these hundreds of people that he know are behind him, are
Yeah.
for him, are gonna like, be there shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
Because I think too the temptation is we walk away from this day going, oh, okay, that's done. Like, that was just so exciting. Baptize those people, good to go. Like, on to the next. When no, 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 we got a journey. And this is a whole community effort on our part.
Yeah.
So can we talk about that, the importance of that? Like if we
Yeah,
think
real
about
quick.
that,
I
right?
love to.
Yeah, because there's something powerful, right? One church, we ask people to come, they all come. We cannot treat this as a moment of like, okay, wash our hands, on to the next thing. It's summertime,
Mhm.
right? Like Ron, like what does this mean for us as we go
Okay.
back to our sites?
Yeah. The work has just
It's
begun.
ready. Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it to recognize Jesus' command, obviously, to baptize in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit in Matthew 28. But what does he say? Make disciples.
make.
Mhm.
And so we have been in process of making disciples with these 60 people that have been baptized, obviously. But
Mhm.
there's an important step now to this that we have as a church to make sure that we are walking them through what this actually means now to become resilient followers of Jesus, to recognize that some, like the Jesus talks about the four soils and the importance of making sure that the soil in which they are planted in is healthy and strong. It's why we ask them, that third question is to be, part of Vital Point Church or part of a church if they ultimately end up leaving, going to another church. And the reason is because we don't want you to dip and dash. Like, we don't want you to do the dip in the water, then dash. We want you to be,
Yeah,
yeah,
we need to coin that term right now.
yeah.
Dip and dash.
Dip and
We don't
dash.
want you to dip and dash. We
Yeah.
want people to understand the responsibility that this is not just a simple, I'm going to get baptized and kind of go and live my life how I want. No, it is actually now, it's no longer I that live, the Christ that lives within me. And, this beautiful aspect of by faith, I live in the flesh, but now by faith, I live for Christ. So for us, it's the recognition of this is just the beginning of the continued journey of what these people are on, because we all know people that have been baptized and then something happens in life. It's the forest oil thing. Something comes up and chokes it out, or some sort of distraction, or they misunderstood that they weren't just trying Jesus. They were actually going to follow him. I had this moment a number of years ago. I watched a baptism baptism recap of another church. There's like 100 people that were baptized. It was really quite beautiful. I ended up getting to know that pastor, and I said, "Hey, where are all these people now?"
Mm.
And he didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, oh boy, like, it's one thing to post a recap video of all these baptisms. It's now, what's the work look like to
First
disciple
fruit.
these people into full devotion where there is complete surrender? The excitement yesterday of the spontaneous people coming forward, giving their lives to Christ. I heard the story about the one gentleman, I don't know what site he's from. Like, he was chomping at the bit, I think, even before the service started. And then he comes forward, and I had people coming to me saying, you can't believe, like, that guy went forward to receive Christ and give his, baptism. The work is just beginning for us. And the recognition of the responsibility that we have is not just to highlight this moment on a nice reel on our Instagram coming out, or our social media coming out this week, or a video we show on Sunday morning. No, it's the work. It's the labor now that it's going to take for our site pastors to understand, of getting these people in the right soil so that nothing chokes out what this happened, or
And the
what happened.
importance thing is the importance of that too, right? Like, you think about that in Ephesians, like, equip the saints, right? It's
To
the
do the work
church
of the ministry.
to do the work of the ministry, right? So
Yeah.
it's not just the site pastor, right? The
Oh
pastor,
yeah.
but I want this to be clear for the church to
Yeah.
realize, like, the pastor's responsibility is like, okay, we have this new incredible family member that has taken the step of faith,
Okay.
and now
Yeah.
we need to surround them.
Yeah. Can you're exactly right, Dave. And I should rephrase this, because I recognize that if we solely think that it's on the shoulders of the site pastor, none of our sites would grow. We would actually choke out the ability to grow. It's kind of like when I talk to the site pastors about their responsibility is to, yes, care for the community, but is to create a culture of care so that people find their gifting and they are actually in a culture of care. Church people come in thinking that they only feel cared for if it's the site pastor that has cared for me, or the lead pastor that has cared for me.
Yeah.
That's a false understanding of the church. It is the responsibility to equip the saints to do the work of the ministry. So you're right, David. It's the work of the site pastors to create the culture of discipleship so that these people's faith will continue to grow. A site pastor can only disciple so many people. Jesus only had 12, right?
12
And
feels
then
like
he
a
had,
lot.
yeah, that's a lot. But
We do
he
too.
equipped, right? So now the work is beginning in our sites to understand, like, David, you've got a bunch of people that are in process right now through Alpha. Shout out to Alpha, that are in process, that came in, into your site, not even thinking there is a God. Now they're in this beautiful journey of discovering God, and that's creating a culture of movement towards Jesus. And maybe next year we'll see them get baptized. But I think it's just such a critical piece to this, that the work has just begun. Like, it's not like, oh, great, we had this big celebration, 60 baptisms. Like, okay, now
Yeah.
what? So
Yeah. And I love the collectiveness. I think of one story. I talked with someone in the Poplar Hill site. He's a part of the Alpha team for the last couple rounds, and the excitement in his face when he said, "Last year, I recognized people when they were getting baptized. This year, like I knew people's stories because I got involved." And
yes,
so, hey, listen, if you heard some of those stories and you kind of feel maybe disconnected, like, oh, I've seen that person at my site, no idea that that was their story. Your responsibility is to get connected and get involved. There's so many opportunities. And the more you step in, the more you become part of these stories and the more it shapes you. Because I encourage that person that, he was excited to see that. And I'm like, your story matters to the gurus. We were talking today with some people because it sharpens their faith. It encourages their faith. There's a mutuality that comes from it. So if you're feeling sidelined after experiencing VPC Sunday or you weren't able to make it out, listen, your next step is to get more involved. Figure out how you can make that work. Rearrange your schedule if you need to, because there's something significant happening and you will gain so much and like give so much out of that, the mutuality that comes from that. So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens after this.
yeah, and I'll say this too. Okay, this over this next year, we're going to be developing a stronger plan for developing our giving base. For example,
Mm.
it's something that we have to do in order to what we believe to reach 10 towns by 2035. Okay, so the giving base needs to be strengthened. So we're slowing down on Site 6 to do this. So think about this. We challenge people to invest their resources, their money, in a big way towards the eternal reality of God's kingdom.
Mhm.
Paul writes at the end of Philippians 4, he says, I don't do it for me, I do it to your credit. Jesus
Mm.
talks about the resources and the investment of the eternity where rust and moths cannot destroy. Okay. Yesterday was a small snippet
Mhm.
of what God is doing through his people. He is the provider
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
through his people to change people's eternities. That is an eternal investment, which we saw yesterday.
Mhm.
And I love the fact that I looked around that space and there's people that I know that are extremely generous to the vision, mission, and kingdom assignment. And I wonder what kind of joy they had in their heart,
Wow.
Mm.
knowing that they're directing their resources to see people's lives change like that. And
So good.
because we're able to do what we do because of God's provision through his people. And I want people to hear that. And if you're on the fence about your giving, understand that you can make an eternal difference in people's lives with your
Yeah,
generosity and your obedience in
absolutely.
giving.
Yeah, that's great. That feels like a great spot to wrap this up, I think. You
Sure.
can put your donations through the website. No, I'm just joking, but for
Yeah.
real.
No,
Yeah,
don't
for
joke
real.
around.
No, be for
Absolutely.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Someday,
yeah.
Amy, you guys have heard me say this. Someday I believe God's going to move someone's heart to give generously to make more of create more of an opportunity for God's work to happen in more towns.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, faith is small as a mustard seed. Every seed that's given is
Well,
makes
absolutely.
incredible impact.
What is it?
So it's so
I
cool.
talked to you guys about, a pastor told me one time that the church is built on the widow's mite.
Right,
So we
right.
can all have, whether it's
Yeah.
$20 a month.
Yep.
Wow. The
Yep.
difference you can make. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's crazy. Okay, so next week we wrap up the Stranger series. So make sure that you're back next Sunday as we wrap up this incredible series. It's gonna be, yeah, it's already been so good, and so the wrap up will be fantastic. And it will also be our last vital moments for the summer as we just hit pause to step back to pray, to plan, and like get ready for the fall and full launch. But we have incredible series happening throughout the summer too, so you're going to want to again continue to prioritize being a part of these Sunday gatherings and staying connected even if you're away, watching online with what we're learning about together and diving in. So thank you so much, guys. Look forward to wrapping up the series next week, and thank you all for listening. Have a great week.